Up next, Inside Santa Barbara begins a new 6-part series that examines our waste stream to find out what it takes to produce various items and their packaging and what happens to those items after they're disposed of. In the first segment, City TV explores the true cost behind single-use items. We've all used them. Those common items we buy at the store, use once and then throw into the recycle bin or garbage. We're talking about plastic bottles, plastic bags, and paper cups, also known as single-use items. Do you know what it means for something to be a single-use item?
No.
Do you guys know what it means for something to be a single-use item?
It's something that you use and then throw away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
like
what
this.
it is.
A single-use item?
Yes.
Yeah, it means you use it one time, you throw it away.
So a single-use item is something you can buy it and just use it once and then discard it afterwards, sometimes in the recycling and sometimes in the trash.
But have you ever thought about what it takes to produce these items?
I've never thought about it, but now that you say that, I probably a lot of money because you use it and then throw it away and you've got to use more and yeah.
Yeah, probably. I haven't thought about how much it costs to make it, but more so to like dispose of it, like
True.
the cost of getting rid of it.
So have you ever thought about how much it costs to produce a paper cup or a plastic water bottle?
No, I never really thought about it.
Have you ever thought about the cost that goes into making a single-use item like a paper cup or a plastic water bottle?
Well, actually, I have a restaurant, so yeah, I imagine, I don't know, I don't pay that much for them, but you know, if it's like a styrofoam cup or something like that, I'm not quite sure what it costs to make that. I know what I have to pay for them, usually about 5 cents a cup.
Principally, you're going to use 3 different kinds of resources. You're going to use petroleum to make plastic products, you're going to use fiber, which comes from trees, and you're going to probably use a combination of the two. 3 examples of that would be a plastic bag, which is going to be a petroleum product, could be a water bottle that's going to come also from oil, and then say a paper cup, which is going to be made of wood fiber, and then it's going to have a plastic lining inside it.
Let's take a look at the plastic bag, an extremely common single-use item. Most plastic bags are made from petroleum and gas, which are non-renewable natural resources. Less than 5% of the bags produced are recycled by consumers, and billions of single-use bags end up in landfills in the United States every year. When you look at what it takes to produce that many plastic bags, it amounts to millions of barrels of petroleum and natural gas. Can you just tell me about why you choose to bring your own bag?
Well, because although you can use the plastic single-use once or twice, they're not durable, and then they just go into landfill and they don't biodegrade. So this is better.
In fact, recycling the plastic takes 85 times more energy than the original production of the bag. And what about the extremely common plastic water bottle?
There's actually a really interesting story behind any single-use product. If it's a plastic water bottle, and say it's a Fiji water bottle, that plastic was actually shipped to Fiji, where it was blown into a bottle in the shape we see, filled with the product, and then shipped to us. It could be made in LA, it could be made anywhere in the world, and then shipped to its final destination. After that, it's going to be put into a recycling container, hopefully, and then we're going to send it downstream, and we're going to try to make it into something else, but very rarely will it ever be made into another water bottle.
Although plastic water bottles can be recycled, most of them end up being thrown away. And because of the nature of most plastics, this makes them difficult to degrade. In fact, it takes a plastic water bottle hundreds of years before it will even begin the process of decomposition. So we know what it takes to produce plastic, but what about paper products? Believe it or not, the paper cup has many of the same environmental challenges as the plastic cup. Trees are the primary source for the production of paper cups.
For a paper cup with a plastic lining, it's going to start in a forest somewhere. Very, very little of our timber is actually sustainably harvested and farmed. Most of it's going to be coming from a forest in Canada or the southeastern United States or overseas. It's going to go to a paper mill. They're going to turn it into a paper pulp and then press it into a cup, and then they're going to line it in plastic. After that, the vast majority of those are going to go into the trash, and then we're going to bury those up at Tehiguis landfill, where they're going to sit there for thousands of years.
Wood is used not only to make the paper for the cup itself, it is also used to fuel the manufacturing process. It takes 12 times as much steam, 36 times the electricity, and twice as much water to manufacture a paper cup versus a reusable plastic cup.
So when we talk about costs with single-use products, there are the costs we pay and there are the costs we don't pay in our modern society. The costs we pay are when we buy a coffee to go. We're paying an extra 5 or 10 cents in that cost for that cup because that business has to pass that on to us. And then we pay for it in the end. We pay for it when we dispose of it. If it's at home, you're paying for garbage service, business pays for garbage service, and then we have it put up in the landfill. And then we pay for 40 or 50 years after that just to manage it in that landfill, and that process continues for a very long time. We still pay for landfills we stopped using in the 70s in Santa Barbara, so that process continues.
The bottom line is, single-use items are convenient, but resource-heavy to create and to recycle.
I think convenience is a wonderful aspect of modern society, and there are certainly times when I use single-use items. I think the difference is when people say to themselves, is this a time when this really benefits what I'm doing? This convenience is necessary? Okay, that's justified. But very often I think it's a slippery slope, and we just find convenience is the only thing we're trying to address. And I think single-use items are overused, and as a result, we're cutting down forests and mining out places we probably don't need to for something that we could have changed the habit pretty easily with.
Stay tuned for the next episode as we take a ride with Marburg to journey further down the waste stream.